Thanks for staying with us. You're watching The World is One News. My name is Mohammed Saleh, and over the course of the next 30 minutes, we'll be taking you through the various developments that are taking place across the world. But first, let's start with the developments taking place in India. The External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj, who is representing India, has also attended the SCO or the Shanghai Cooperation Organization meet. She met with the Foreign Minister of Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. Sushma Swaraj has also attended the SAARC ministerial meet. In all, the meetings attended by Sushma Swaraj dealt with the issues relating to terrorism in South Asia. Now, this was one of the key issues which was raised. Now, without naming Pakistan, the External Affairs Minister mentioned the problem of certain countries providing shelter and support to terror groups within South Asia and using terror as an instrument of state policy. Now, Sushma Swaraj is also expected to address the UNGA later on this week. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be visiting his parliamentary constituency of Varanasi today. The Prime Minister's engagements will cover aspects as diverse as infrastructure, railways, textiles, financial inclusion, environment and sanitation, along with animal husbandry, culture and also spirituality. Now, the Prime Minister will be flagging off the Mahamana Express through a video link. Now, this train will connect Varanasi with Surat and Vadodara in Gujarat, so connecting Uttar Pradesh and Gujarat more effectively. Now, a major step, West Bengal Chief Minister is all set to move the Supreme Court after the Calcutta High Court revoked the government's decision on the idol immersion ban. The Mamata Banerjee reacted to the court's decision and said that she will do what can be done to keep the peace in the state. The High Court on Thursday said that it allows Durga idol immersion till about midnight, including on the day of Muharram, which falls on the next day of Vijayadashmi. The judges had said that let the Hindus and the Muslims live in harmony and together, and let them celebrate their respective religious ceremonies together, and ask the government not to create a line of difference between them. Now, the Haryana and Rajasthan police teams have carried out a joint search operation to trace Harpreet Insan, but the close confidant of the jail Dera Sacha Sauda chief Gurmeet Ram Rahim Singh continues to remain elusive. Now, the search operation was carried following an input that Harpreet Ram Rahim Singh's adopted daughter might in fact be hiding at a house in Sri Gurusar Modia village in Rajasthan's Sri Ganganagar district. Sri Gurusar Modia is the native place of Ram Rahim Singh, who is presently serving a 20-year prison sentence after being convicted of raping two of his disciples. Now, the BJP National President Amit Shah will address a rally in the poll-bound state of Himachal Pradesh in Kangra. Now, Himachal Pradesh will go to polls later this year, and Union Health Minister JP Nadda has said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi might in fact visit the state and also address the state. Now, in the current assembly, the Congress presently holds 36 of the 68 seats, while the BJP has as many as 26 seats. Now, the party had a major victory in the neighbouring state of Uttarakhand early this year. The former Maharashtra Chief Minister Narayan Rane quits the Congress amid speculation that he is in fact planning to join the BJP. Announcing that he's quit the Congress, Rane has accused the Congress of reneging on its promises of making him the Chief Minister after he had joined the party 12 years ago. Now, there are speculations, however, that he may actually join the BJP after reports came out that he had met BJP President Amit Shah in Ahmedabad a few months ago. Now, in a bid to try and pacify the agitating Patidar community ahead of the assembly polls, the Gujarat government has invited leaders from the community for talks to bring about an amicable solution to the ongoing quota stir. The Gujarat Deputy Chief Minister Nitin Patel has said that the state government as well as the BJP leaders are willing to hold talks with the Patel Kota agitators and other community leaders on the 26th of September with an aim to end the Kota agitation in the state ahead of the poll scheduled later on this year. The Calvary, the first of the 6 Scorpene-class submarines, has been handed over to the Indian Navy by shipbuilder Mazagaon Dock Limited, paving the way for its commissioning soon. The development marks a major milestone in the Indian Navy submarine program as the vessel is expected to bolster India's maritime prowess. The submarine, designed by French Naval Defence and Energy Company DCNS, is being built by the Mazagaon Dock Limited in Mumbai as a part of the Project 75 of the Indian Navy. Now, the Supreme Court is all set to hear a petition seeking a ban on Kav vigilante groups across the nation. Now, the petitioner in the case is alleged that the vigilante groups had unleashed terror on minorities and the Dalits in India. Now, earlier, the court had sought a response from the centre and other states over the issue. Well, to some international news now, and in his maiden address at the United Nations General Assembly, Pakistan's Prime Minister Shahid Abbasi has called the resumption of dialogue with India on all issues, including Kashmir. Now, he further added that India is the one which refuses to implement the resolution of the UNSC, which enables plebiscite in the Kashmir Valley. Now, Shahid Abbasi further said that a special envoy should be appointed for Jammu and Kashmir, and hitting back at India, Pak Prime Minister has also blamed the country for using pellet guns that constitute war crimes and also violates the Geneva Convention. He has demanded the international investigation on this issue.
Let me reiterate, Pakistan remains open to resuming a comprehensive dialogue with India to address all outstanding issues, especially Jammu and Kashmir, and discuss measures to maintain peace and security.
And also speaking about the Rohingya crisis in the United Nations General Assembly, Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has condemned all forms of terror and violent extremism. Now, Sheikh Hasina added that Bangladesh maintains zero tolerance in this regard and also calls on the United Nations and the international community to take immediate and effective measures for a permanent solution to the Rohingya crisis. She said that the Rohingya refugees must be able to return to their homeland with respect and dignity, and Myanmar should in fact ensure this.
In the 1971 War of Liberation, we endured an extreme form of genocide. In the 9-month-long War of Liberation against Pakistan, 3 million innocent people were killed and more than 200,000 women were violated.
The North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has come ahead with a hard-hitting response to US President Donald Trump's threat to totally destroy North Korea. Now, Kim Jong-un has said that North Korea will consider the highest level of hardline countermeasure in history against the United States. Now, he's called Trump as mentally deranged and his comments as the most ferocious declaration of a war in history. Justifying Pyongyang's nuclear program, Kim has termed it as the correct path to keep safety and peace in North Korea. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump has signed an executive order imposing fresh sanctions against North Korea. Now, the sanctions will be targeted to expand the capability of the United States agencies to crack down on individuals and companies that do business with North Korea. Now, the president has further added that the order includes measures which are designed to disrupt shipping and trade networks to reduce North Korea's ability to avoid the sanctions. Now, this move aims to cut off the funding and also deter North Korea's nuclear and missile ambitions. Now, this comes amidst a string of recent tests and provocations, and also Trump's announcement came after a trilateral meeting between the leaders of the United States, Japan and South Korea. Now, the deadly Hurricane Maria has flooded parts of the Dominican Republic as it stormed past on Thursday and dumped more heavy showers on Puerto Rico. Now, at least 15 people are reported to have died in the Dominican Republic, which remains without running water and electricity after the hurricane had made a landfall on the Caribbean island on Monday. Now, the second major hurricane has killed at least 17 people so far and has devastated several islands, including St. Croix and in the US Virgin Islands and also the Dominican Republic. The Hurricane Maria has been ranked as a Category 4 storm when it plowed into Puerto Rico on Wednesday as the strongest to hit the island in over 90 years. Well, thousands of people demonstrated on Thursday to demand the release of the Catalan government officials who were arrested in connection with a banned pro-independence referendum. Now, waving pro-independence flags, the demonstrators in fact chanted slogans in favour of the vote that was planned by the Catalan government for the 1st of October. Now, the Spanish police, however, have arrested a dozen high-ranking officials with this case, and Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy has in fact warned the Catalan government of more consequences if the vote goes ahead. Meanwhile, the Spanish National Police vans were seen parked near the Rhapsody ferry ship, which has been called in to reinforce in Catalonia due to the proposed referendum. The ferry ship accommodates the National Police and the Civil Guards in Spain. The Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has said that Turkey will deploy troops in Syria's northern Idlib region as part of a so-called de-escalation agreement brokered by Russia last month. Now, the de-escalation zones, which have been agreed by Turkey, Russia and Iran, will be further discussed in talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin during his trip to Ankara next week. Now, Erdogan has also said that Turkey was considering countermeasures, including imposing sanctions against the Kurdish northern Iraq over a planned referendum. Now, Turkey has called for the cabinet meeting and National Security Council session over the referendum. Now, 2 days after Mexico's deadliest earthquake in 32 years, Mexico has addressed the United Nations General Assembly. The country's Minister for Foreign Affairs, Luis Videgaray Caso, has thanked the global community for the outpouring of support. But the death toll due to the earthquake has gone up 273, including 137 people who have died just in Mexico City. This even as the search and rescue operations continue to try and fish out people who may still be alive underneath the rubble. The French workers marched on the streets of Paris on Thursday, and this was to demonstrate against President Emmanuel Macron's labour reforms. According to the police, around 16,000 people joined the protests, and unions said that 55,000 people in fact demonstrated against what had been dubbed as one of the worst form of labour reforms in recent times. The reports indicate that the government has said that it will in fact press ahead with the reforms, and that will give more power to companies to set working conditions, hire and sack people at will. And also the protesters have said that Macron's program favours companies over the middle-class workers. Meanwhile, Facebook has said that it in fact plans to share with the United States congressional investigators as many as 3,000 political ads that it says that Russia-based operatives ran on Facebook in the month before and after last year's US presidential election. The chief executive, Mark Zuckerberg, who has been under pressure to do more to prevent the use of Facebook for election manipulation, said in a live broadcast on Facebook that he in fact had supported the investigation by the US Congress. Now, Zuckerberg has laid out 9 steps that he said that Facebook was taking to deter governments from using the world's largest social network to interfere with the elections. The world's richest woman, L'Oreal heiress Lillian Bettencourt, has died at the age of 94. Betancourt, the cosmetics giant's principal shareholder, was the 14th richest person in the world with an estimated wealth of $39.5 billion US. She was rarely seen in public since leaving L'Oreal board in 2012, but her name, however, has remained in the headlines as members of her entourage were charged with exploiting her failing mental health. The Syrian Army's field commander standing by the Euphrates north of the city of Deir al-Zor said that the Islamic State will very soon be purged from its opposite bank. The Syrian army, supported by Russia as well as Iran-backed Shiite militias, has reached its besieged garrison in the city of Deir al-Zor. This month, after a long desert campaign, it is now fighting to retake the city and its surroundings. It has also crossed the Euphrates, establishing a bridgehead opposite Deir al-Zor on the east bank, where the Kurdish and the Arab militias, backed by a US-led coalition, are presently waging a rival campaign against the so-called Islamic State. Now, promising Canada's unwavering commitment to combat the effects of climate change on the national and international level, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has told the United Nations General Assembly that there is no country on this planet that can walk away from the reality and the responsibility of climate change. The United Nations Security Council has unanimously passed a resolution to investigate the Islamic State group's crimes in Iraq. The resolution stipulates that the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres should actually establish an investigative team to help Iraq's authorities investigate the crimes committed by the Islamic State militants, also bring them to justice. Now, experts are expected to collect and preserve evidence concerning war crimes, genocide and also crimes against humanity. The group that will comprise the Iraqi lawyers and criminal investigators as well as international experts is expected to be active for 2 days. Now, a special advisor to the UN Secretary General will lead the group's work. Now, for the first time in nearly 250-year history, the United States Marine Corps will have a female infantry officer. Now, the woman, whose name has not yet been released, is scheduled to graduate from the infantry officer course. She will be the first to complete the 13-week course as per the specifications by the Marine Corps Training and Education Command. 4 female Marine officers have volunteered and attempted the infantry officer course. Now, this after ground combat were opened for women in April 2016, with the officer who is going to graduate on Monday is the first to pass. Now, in 2015, the Pentagon had made the decision to open all combat roles to women, ending a ban on their service on the front line. Now, tirelessly working as the UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador, actress Priyanka Chopra is presently busy spreading the importance of education among children, especially for the girl child. The actress has emphasized on the importance of education and has urged everyone to educate and create opportunities for young girls and children. Priyanka Chopra has also met with Nobel Peace Prize winner Malala Yousafzai at the UNGA event. Now, England's second one-day international against West Indies has been washed out due to rain at Trent Bridge. England hold a 1-0 lead in the 5-match series and were batting at 22-0 when rain lashed, causing the game to be abandoned. The third one-day international will be played at Bristol on Sunday. Meanwhile, West Indies continue to sweat on the injury of their star batsman Chris Gayle. The 38-year-old had to undergo a scan on the hamstring injury and was ruled out just before the West Indies' second one-day international against England. Now, in badminton, PV Sindhu crashed out of the Japan Open Super Series in the second round. A difficult draw saw Sindhu face Nozomi Okuhara, and home favourites sent the Olympic silver medalist crashing out. of the competition with a scoreline which read 21-18, 21-8 in straight sets. And also, India's women's singles campaign concluded with Olympic gold medalist Carolina Marin sending Saina Nehwal packing in the second round. The Spanish world number 5 booked her place in the quarterfinals with a 21-16, 21-13 win against Saina Nehwal. Well, to some entertainment news now, and Grammy-winning pop artist Ed Sheeran performs at the Amnesty International's global concert series Give a Home in Washington, D.C., aiming to raise awareness about the ongoing refugee crisis in the world. The event features over 1,000 musicians performing in 300 shows in 60 countries on the same day. The Mexican actress Salma Hayek donates as much as $100,000 to UNICEF towards relief activities in Mexico following the recent earthquake. The Hayek has also reached out to fans through social media, urging them to contribute towards the same. Now, in a bid to diversify their economy by 2030, Saudi Arabia plans to further shell $2.7 billion to boost the entertainment sector in their kingdom. Now, in April, Saudi Arabia announced plans to build a 334 square kilometer entertainment city in their capital city of Riyadh, featuring sports, cultural and recreational activities.